correct button, record button, and we will get going. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us. Hopefully, this comes out better. We'll try to work out some bugs. Feel free to comment if you have any issues like hearing us or whatever. This whole thing hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo, Acosta.
And every single week on this particular podcast, we bring you the round of the week's best geek and tech news. We discuss that news and, of course, anything else we happen to be interested in this week. And this week, we were talking about
Google stuff.
Out better.
And I'm going to change it a little bit because the way I read it sounds like I was saying goodbye to everything. So, Google stuff, Mrs. Batman, movie trailer showdown,
hey, everybody,
and goodbye to American Online.
I am goodbye to American Online. And there's always like a weird abbreviation. Because AOL is something else as well. So it's like an abbreviation within an abbreviation. Anything else would be AOLIM. And this week, okay, but of course, to begin our show though with some
Google stuff. Out better. And I'm going to change it a little bit because the way I read it, so Google stuff. Mrs. Batman,
and our first story in Geek News is going to be some great goodbye. We have Google announced some new hardware this week at their Google event. It was kind of fun. They were making fun of Apple quite a bit. So if you watch those live streams of those, an abbreviation within my abbreviation, your Google person. Some of the cool things they talked about. I enjoyed most of them. Some I thought were not interesting. But we'll begin with the Google Pixel 2. Now the new smartphone will run on pure Android Oreo. Sounds like a dessert. And it supposedly has the best smartphone camera ever made. And our first story in is going to be $650 for the regular version. And the Pixel 2 Google announced is new hardware, like an extra couple inches of this week. I pre-ordered them today, but there are no official release dates. People are saying it's October 17th. So if you also announced was a Google Pixel. It's essentially a fancy Chromebook. It has an Intel Core i5 Ryzen 7 processor. They talked about RAM. I enjoyed the 2560 by 1700 resolution display. We'll begin with the Google Pixel. You can flip it over, use it as a tablet, or you can use smartphone Google run or pure Android Oreo, use it as a like dessert. So it does have a double duality. So the screen is going to be touchscreen. Best smartphone camera also for an extra $100. Get a fancy new Pixel. So there you go. Again, pre-orders are now, and it will be in stores on February 23rd. Google Home Mini was another thing that popped up. It's essentially a small Google Home today, like the hockey size speaker. Also works as a dumbed-down version of their artificial intelligence system. Also, like Alexa or Siri or whatever. Sorry if I'm setting for devices. So it is an Intel Core i5 Ryzen processor. It is again a dumbed down version, but it also is 2560 by 1700 resolution display. So not you can flip it if you want to test that kind of stuff out. Now the more expensive version of that is the big Google Home Max. It's essentially a giant speaker. 4.5 inch subwoofers in there, and it can also for more. Google's trying to say, hey, if you want to spend money, it's the big one. If you don't, pre-orders are now. And then this one is kind of exciting. Google Pixel Buds Mini popped up. Not only the fact that it is it's a headphone, which is not revolutionary. Google also put out the regular headphone jack, works as a dumbed-down version of one adapter for your current headphone setup. But they also said that these Alexa can translate in real time other people's languages. And basically it's $160. So is and they're wireless. So we'll have a wire connecting them to the not you can flip it if you want to test that kind of stuff out. But it is out. It's going to be available in November. And last but not least, is going to be the camera that you don't control. This one is a little weird. Google subwoofers in there. It's the camera that you attach to your clothing or whatever else you want to, and an artificial intelligence software decides when to take pictures or videos. And it's about the size of a little square tracker. That's how they're described here. And then another thing about coming in, the camera itself decides when to take photos and videos. Not only the fact that it is it's supposed to use some artificial intelligence algorithm to decide, when it sees your friend's faces, headphone jacks. Yeah, very interesting. those are cool things. Any of those things get you excited, man.
Of course, the
But
earbuds.
the earbuds, cool.
Translating
So
the earbuds is the biggest
Alexa
thing. I've been hearing a lot of people.
does
Now I get
can
to watch
translate
anime
in real
like
time
dubbed, but the only
other
bad
people's
part is
voices.
all the voices
And
will be
you
the
basically
same voice.
yes.
So that's the only.
So you like to download new voices for the translation. Have James Earl Jones and Darth Vader translate for you, or like some other character,
Oh
or
yeah.
Batman.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Conroy's Batman saying, but it is out. Going to be out available in November. Yo quiero Taco and last but not least, it's going to be the camera that you don't control.
Oh man,
I think those would all be very
I was gonna say
interesting.
the set of anime
Yeah.
instead of me guessing the whole time and
The
just
camera
reading
that
the whole
can your
the
clothing,
captions
whatever
on
you want to,
things,
and an
but
artificial
especially hearing
intelligence
like in this case,
or
Kevin
decides when to
Conroy
take pictures
speaking
or
as
videos.
Edward Elric
Little,
from Full Metal
fair
Alchemist, or
background.
depending on what show you're
That's how those
watching,
grab here.
it's
And
an
then
interesting take on it.
oh, I totally forgot to. I think I turned off the thing here. You've been doubling up again.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well. Sorry, folks, if you're listening to this. Yeah.
Um, but nothing really sticks out to me. The thing is, especially in the quote unquote future that we're existing in right now, you think they'd have. I know there's been these very few attempts at VR projections, like the augmented reality thing, where they did the same thing with the Alexa and projected a little like VR simulated model of her. So every time you would talk to her, she would talk to you and do like hand gestures and whatnot, like saying like, "Oh, it's over there," or "Hi," or "Welcome home," blah blah blah, kind of deal.
Yeah. I mean, you're basically integrating artificial intelligence and Google products into your everyday life with all this stuff. Everything from talking to it to seeing you to
Yeah,
translation work to your computers in your pockets.
but so far the
Um,
notebooks hasn't really changed. It's
no,
it's
no, it's a fancier version and it's more expensive. It's $1,000
yeah,
for the Pixel book. I'm like, it's still a Chromebook, which means it needs to be connected to the internet. I'm like, that seems a little
of course.
expensive.
And my biggest thing is on it with any kind of electronics is battery life.
Yes,
Battery life has
Chromebooks
always
have
been the biggest
really
thing.
decent battery lives. I mean, I get about 5 or 6 hours out of the one, you
hmm
know, small laptop I have. It's like, oh, that's comparable to what Chromebooks I've seen use.
Yeah, there's your user, then there's your standby. But for the person that's tech savvy and on the go, they want to make sure they have the whole battery life and not having to carry an extra backup battery for
Well,
for
anybody
charging
who's
purposes.
you always have like backup battery if you're like super tech savvy for your
Yeah.
stuff anyway. So there you go. Okay, next story.
All right, the pioneer and chat app that taught us to text is pulling the plug. On December 15th, AOL Instant Messenger will shut down after running since 1997. American Online Instant Messenger dominated online chat in North America at the turn of the century. But with this SMS and social apps like Facebook and WhatsApp having conquered chat, AOL is giving up the fight with no planned replacement. So that was my first experience, even just getting online in general. Was having the actual disc that you
Right.
would get at any kind of store, mall, whatever. They were literally pretty much giving them away. Um, Loaded up, hearing the old classic dial like all that kind of stuff, and that was my first time of exposing myself to another person, another hopefully a girl at the time, or at least getting to chat it up with some people, and you could find I was making like pretty much friends with people across the country and across the world because it is America Online. It wasn't
Yes,
yeah,
although there were other countries, you just got a different charge on your dial up.
exactly.
Like you call Zimbabwe and like, oh, that's another $2 charge. So hopefully you weren't exposing yourself to random people on the internet in Zimbabwe.
Exactly. But it was so much fun. It was like the classic thing for at least during my era was typing in the classic ASL to find out what you were, who you were, and how old you were now. But it was fun. I don't I honestly, especially obviously Facebook. That's true. Things have changed. Did they ever have an app themselves?
I'm sure they had an independent messenger at some point where they tried it. Like this thing's been going for a long time, including Yahoo's attempt more recently, the last
Yeah,
5 or 6 years, to make an independent messaging platform. But
I got to give it credit.
technology-wise, it was just like, oh, out of date.
I got to give it credit to Yahoo though. At the time when it was the instant messages were evolving, they did this awesome thing where you can actually play video games with each other more or less through the messenger.
Right.
So it was like a combination of Street Fighter, is depending, of course, what you typed in. It was like up, down, or whatever, which would be an attack, and depending on what the other person is quote unquote messaging, that would be the fighting moves. And it was fun. It was something fun because it was before the creepiness of the camera being added on. That was the I don't know if you call it a buzzkill, but now that you actually got to see who you were talking to, because it was just a guessing game. It was like, I wonder what this person looks like. This is practically like my soulmate, but it wound up being like a 300-pound fat dude,
Yeah.
like living in his mom's
It's
basement.
very much the early experiences of people on the internet, having the ability to chat with people that you don't actually see in person.
Mhm.
There were dangers and there were, of course, those exciting new opportunities where you don't know what's going to happen. And that's the way it is with any emerging technology, whether it was going to be like live streaming on some other platform, eventually normalizes and they're like unwritten social rules. And that's what's the case, but this was one of the first popular ones. So we all always appreciate you, America Online, but we are definitely glad that your time has passed and we have better things.
But they're still keeping around their emails, right?
Yahoo is still around, yes, even though they had a $3 billion or 3 billion person data breach. They're still around. I wouldn't recommend you use them as your email service,
No, I'm
but
talking
they are
about
around.
America Online.
I don't know that they've disappeared. I
They
believe,
still should have an
yeah.
email service available.
So
Hmm.
there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Next story. Oh, this one's fun. Last June, Batman unexpectedly proposed to his longtime girlfriend, Selena Kyle, also known as Catwoman. So after taking stock of his own life following their confrontation with Bane, so Bane came back and then had to make a midlife crisis decision, I guess. Um, DC has held off on making her response public until now, and she said yes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Batman and Catwoman are going to get married. The only question remains is if they're both going to make it to the altar.
That's true.
Because that's always the case. Like, oh, it's a great wedding. Like every wedding I've ever seen in comics has been, with like a rare exception, it's been an event. Like, oh, some supervillain crashes the party and ruins everything,
Of
or
course.
it's some excuse to like murder somebody and like twist that happiness into super sadness.
Now, is this a whole one comic run alternative timeline
I
universe
think it's
kind
the
of thing?
same timeline as far as aware. I know there have been alternate times like Earth 2 Batman and Selena
Exactly.
Kyle get married, and they have like some kid who becomes the Huntress, whatever. But I'm pretty sure this is the
Okay.
main one.
Yeah, because there was a show a while back called Birds of Prey that was on the CW, which was that was the concept of Batman and Catwoman actually hooking up and having a kid, and that was one of the first time I was introduced about to the Oracle about Barbara Gordon being wheelchair bound and all that stuff. So it
Right.
was an interesting storyline and with live action. So it was really cool, but I didn't know it was actually gone through and actually becoming a comic book though.
Yep.
So this is an awesome take, and definitely I wonder if anything, the most jealous of jealous people in Batman's life would probably be what's her name? Is it Natalia? The
Uh,
Ra's al Ghul's daughter?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I know
that's
what you're
the
talking
one
about.
that will get, because
The mother of his other kid,
exactly the baby
Damian Wayne.
mama. Baby
Yeah.
mama coming into
Although I'm
play.
not sure. I don't remember if she's actually dead or not. I remember in the like video, like the animated version,
Mhm.
she dies apparently, and
Does
she
she?
doesn't quite make it to
The pit.
the pit. Yeah, I know the grandfather died, which like makes it Damian Wayne the heir
Hmm.
to the you know that particular League of Assassins stuff. Um, but I don't know. I mean, you could also have every ex girlfriend come back into play at some point, including like Wonder Woman, which I think they're playing up for the new Justice League movie
Hmm.
as well. So I'm like that relation between Bruce Wayne and somebody. So we'll have to wait and see.
I'm thinking it's going to be either Alfred officiating it or Alfred being the best man, because
So
I
you
don't
think it's
know.
gonna be like a low key superhero wedding or like a public
Oh no.
Bruce Wayne and because I mean he's getting married. He's being married as Bruce Wayne, right?
Well, that's another thing. Yeah, there's your public Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle
Right.
marriage.
That's the part that we're gonna get married, I would
Yeah,
assume, because otherwise she's not gonna show up as like a real wife for Bruce
person.
Wayne. It's like, oh, you're just married to Batman, which means you get the danger and none of the money.
Oh yeah, prenup.
Oh,
Ah, does he love her that much? That's the thing. It's always
I'm
that'd
sure
be
they'll make that a point. It's,
one of the greatest thieves. Of take advantage of that.
that's always the best stat, like marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, next story. This one's yours.
All right. Gore Verbinski is making a deal to direct Gambit at Fox. The X-Men spinoff has been a high priority at the studio since Channing Tatum stepped up to star to the film as Remy LeBeau, the suave mutant from New Orleans who turns objects into explosive projectiles. So we've been waiting for it. It's been what, 2, almost 3 years now that it was talks, especially once Channing Tatum got signed to it. But haven't heard anything, haven't seen any concept art, haven't seen any other than fan art, which it's not much to do when you're just sticking that little face into that one headbandish headgear that Gambit usually wears. You know, I haven't seen.
It's been developer hell just because like we have mostly I think because of the script and like the timing for a lot of directors like, oh, this is taking too long. I have offers to do other things. I'm gonna go do them. So then they lose a director and they have to rewrite the script because the next director that comes on wants to put their own spin on it and make sure it's their own. Um, so I'm like, oh, I guess. I mean, he looks like Gambit, I guess. I don't. I don't remember if he's from the South actually, or if he can do a good Southern accent. Either way,
Southern
I
is
like that last script that they had. The Ocean's 11 version of this kind of thing. I thought that was a cool script. I don't know if they're going to keep it or not, but at least they have a director now, which means they can start moving forward on casting and getting this thing actually done.
Oh yeah, because Southern is one, but the Cajun accent, the Cajun is what I really want to
Oh
hear.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Wait, that's Jamaican.
close.
He's not Jamaican.
But yeah, I definitely want to see that. I want to see. I think it was talked about Sinister possibly being the villain in it. So I just can't wait to see what they're
Sounds
gonna
kind of
bust
cool.
out.
Definitely. Okay.
Mhm.
So next story, we have Psych, the movie. That's right. There's going to be a movie based upon that USA Network television show. For those of you who are enjoy that, it's going to be a premiere date of December the 7th at 8 p.m. This was announced at New York Comic Con recently. That Psych the movie will be out December the 7th at 8 p.m. So in the upcoming movie, fake psychic detective Sean Spencer and Burton Guster open up at their new office in San Francisco called the Psycho Francisco, and are solving a case after a mystery assailant targets one of their own. Trouble ensues, and the psych team will seek justice. Also, wait, what's the wrestler's name? The one of some wrestlers going to show up in the movie as well as a cameo.
Hmm.
It is he's playing John Cena. That's it. John Cena
Oh,
is going to be in
me.
this particular movie as well because he was a guest character on the original show as well.
Yeah. I will see how it turns out. Honestly, it's a buddy cop, black guy, white guy, opposites attract kind of thing. But yeah, they have to work together to figure out the thing. It's USA has always been an interesting show. Network like Burn Notice was another show that it had quite a bit of a popularity. More like I want to say like a cult following. But it to me, Psych was like Detective Scrubs because it was like
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Yeah, except that there's supposed to be more comedy and less detective work. And quick shout out to Hans Zimmer in the chat room. Hey, Hans.
eons. But so yeah, I'm gonna honestly, I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
it's not my
watch it.
show. This article is basically for uh
For the
for Edgar, for my
lovers of
wife.
the
Yeah,
USA.
my wife enjoys this show, which is why it shows up here because she
Yeah,
might listen to this occasionally.
yeah, because Bruce Campbell was honestly the only reason for Burn Notice for
Right.
people that actually caught it. This one, it had its moments here and there, but I don't know, it just didn't grab me. It just wasn't for me.
Okay, that's cool. Well, we can move on to the next story then.
Yeah.
Which one? Here you go. It's yours.
Hell yeah, Danny Rand. Well, it's as many times as you could hear, I am Danny Rand. Mr. Finn Jones, aka the Immortal Iron Fist, aka Protector of Kunlun, aka Sworn Enemy of the Hand, aka the Defender in the Defender's Cat Picking on will be appearing in the second season of Marvel's Luke Cage with Luke Cage, Mike Coulter himself. Marvel is keeping details on Danny's involvement under wraps, but when Luke's standalone series returns to Netflix, the two comic book partners will be seen together at least once. Entertainment Weekly has the evidence of this exclusive first look at the pairing in season 2.
Yeah, I kind of like his new haircut. He looks less douchey, without all the curly hair
Honestly,
and the actual dark beard.
when I was scrolling and just the first glance, I thought it was the dude from Fast and the Furious for a second.
The dead one.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no, it's not him. I can
yeah,
almost guarantee that.
yeah. But it was just the glance. I'm like, they doing another Fast and the Furious movie? I guess they're gonna do CG the brother again. But I don't know. My biggest thing with the whole Iron Fist and Luke Cage is I really want to see something that related, or even just a little nod to it of talking about becoming like heroes for hire.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to come out because Luke Cage season 2, I think, comes out before Iron Fist season 2. So
Hmm.
I know they're filming for that now. They've already shown the detective lady with her bionic arm, and like, I'm assuming they're going to start release the beginnings of the Heroes Fire because that's anybody who's ever read these comics knows. Oh, these guys are buddies. They do a job together. They become like this business, and they're like street level superheroes. Um, and that they weren't quite buddy buddy yet in the Defenders, but they were like starting off that conflict friendship.
Yeah, because I was wondering how they're gonna hit it off. Because I remember seeing even clips of comics and stuff like they're they're friends. They're like happy, smiling, like they're like Luke and like
Yeah,
Daddy, that kind of deal. Is the equivalent to Scrubs and a Psych, apparently, but in the comic book world, black guy, white guy, buddy kind of deal.
only this plot makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, the only thing is with like Danny Rad's always been the not douchey, but
no, he definitely
involved
came
in
out
his own
douchey.
world.
Definitely came out douchey in like his in the Iron Fist and in the Defenders, and hopefully this is going to be transitioned into being less douchey, I guess.
Yeah, because
Doucheless.
I loved in the Defenders when Luke Cage just put him in his spot.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously, you've been around this long,
No,
you
no,
had all
you.
this money, and suddenly
It's
you
like
want to
no,
make the
man.
world better?
You always had powers as a white rich dude. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Suddenly now it takes it being taken away that now I got to make a change.
He's not really taking away either. It's like, oh, you have this other superpower called money.
Exactly,
Being rich. That's a pretty good superpower there, buddy. We don't
exactly.
need your magic,
Hmm.
unbreakable fist. Like
Exactly.
it's the least powerful weapon you have.
Seriously.
Okay. Next story. Here, Gal Gadot, aka the Bride of Frankenstein movie. We recently learned that Universal Pictures' Bride of Frankenstein production was shut down. So that director Bill Condon and his creative team could have more time to develop the story properly. So that's never good news when a production just stops entirely. Angelina Jolie was originally cast as the Bride of Frankenstein. She has not signed on for the potentially new script until she actually gets it, but she could potentially drop out. And the director's already said that if she does drop out, he's going to try to approach Gal Gadot. So we might see Wonder Woman as the Bride of Frankenstein, which also infers Frankenstein comes out first.
Oh
So
yeah.
who would you rather see in this particular role, Gal Gadot or Angelina Jolie? Who do you think works out better?
I'm gonna say just Gal, just because no offense to Angelina Jolie, she's had her run. She's done it
Are you
all.
saying
Unless
she's old?
she in Hollywood years, yes, but unless she plays an older character,
Right.
she's hey, her as
She's brought back.
Frankenstein.
She's brought back from the dead. So I don't know that age
No,
necessarily.
I'm talking about like her being Dr. Frankenstein,
I
the actual
guess.
person that actually patches these things, these creatures
So
together.
a female Victor
Yeah,
von Frankenstein.
yeah, Victoria von Frankenstein.
Yeah, I guess that would work.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, not her as Igor. She doesn't have like a
No,
weird
no, I'm just
hump or
saying like
anything.
I don't see an issue with like gender being unless you're because this is always supposed to be a modern revisiting anyway, so you
Hmm.
don't have the same social constructs as you did in the original Victoria version of this. So why not? Yeah, so yeah, it'll work.
Yeah, do that. Have a gal as the Frankenstein. I just Bride of Frankenstein. I just don't know if they're gonna give her those sweet white
Curly
lightning bolt
hairs.
streaks in her hair and
Well,
have that weird
they gave what's his face Tom Cruise,
the
mummy
mummy.
powers. Yeah, he's the mummy.
That
I
one
don't know
was
who they
weird.
have for Frankenstein or Dracula, the Wolfman. I just know apparently the Bride of Frankenstein now.
If I'm gonna see a modern version of like old Universal Studios monsters kind of thing that I haven't really seen, well, technically it's kind of being done, but I would love to see the creature from the Black Lagoon. But honestly, I think that we're seeing that in that one Hellboy ish movie.
No, no, the one by Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah,
Um, I forget what it's called too, but it's like he's
uh,
trapped in water. Yeah, I
yeah.
always feel like, oh, that's the prequel to Hellboy. Like
No,
that's where you get with the Sapien or whatever it
save
is.
me. There you go.
Yeah, so I'm like, I was like, they seem very similar characters. I want to say like, oh, this is going to be like a prequel to that movie
Yeah, because that the
because he
character to
also
me always
communicates by
seems.
pressing his hand up against the cage. And like, I'm
Hmm.
hoping this is going to be like that's what it is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would love that.
yeah. Is anything else that's gone out of Monster Worlds? Like I've seen quite a one modern versions of like the Invisible Man with I think was it Kevin Bacon, Hollow Man,
I don't remember if it was Kevin Bacon or not
or
or someone else.
somebody else, but yeah, they did a
Yeah, yeah,
Invisible
I know. I
Man.
remember seeing. that. But like they're going to redo that one too. So
Mm.
you're going to have so many of these new films just because they don't have anything else. Universal doesn't have like a superhero license. This is about as close as they can get at this
Yeah,
point. So
because Wolfman, they've done kind of varieties on it.
Paulette
Uh,
joined and left.
oh, what was gonna say? The Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera. I think
No,
it just got classified.
I
Not
don't know that
classified.
he would be called a monster in any way, shape, or
Yeah,
form. He is part of the Universal Library. Like
yeah.
they own it. But I don't ever remember seeing him in any of those monster mashup films. It was just always
It's the old classic and the musical
Dracula.
version.
It was Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, and like versus the Three Stooges or something, or
Something. It was always kind of
Laurel and
cheesy
Hardy
and
or something.
comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to. I'll give it a shot. I'll see.
Did
Hopefully,
you see the Mummy?
huh?
Did you see the Mummy?
Not the Tom Cruise version.
Me either,
Yeah.
and I don't think many people do, which is why I think they're evaluating all these monster films because that was supposed to be their big launch product, and it kind of sucked.
I'll watch it because if
So
anything, what I would love to see, I've made a at least sequel of or what version of it. I actually like the Van Helsing movie, and in that it was the closest thing of bringing in like a crossover because they did have, of course, your vampires there, and I think they had a
yeah, but that's not the modern version of it. That even the Van Helsing movie was still set
period
in like well, not
Victorian
necessarily, it was
era.
like a alternate world, Victorian steampunk kind of world,
Hmm.
and that one was fine because it had Dracula, it had the Wolfman, and it had Van Helsing. I do think Van Helsing would be a nice way to like collect everybody,
Hmm.
like he's the monster hunter or something.
Hmm.
But it's not. It doesn't. I mean, so far the franchise hasn't doesn't seem to be working as Universal wanted to. If they're trying to set it up as the Avengers or even the Defenders or something, they would be happy with Defender level popularity. They're just not getting it at this point.
Let's just start doing some other crossovers in the horror world, the way they did with Freddy versus
Yeah,
Jason. Maybe it's time to bring Chucky into some other world.
crossovers. That's all
Yeah.
possible. Yeah. There you
All right.
go. Okay. Last story before we do the movie trailer showdown.
Yes,
Sadness.
sad. Great man, Mr. Rocker Tom Petty died Monday after being rushed to the Los Angeles hospital, according to Tony Dimitriadis, longtime manager of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. How do you do that? Dimitriates?
Yeah, sure. Go on. We'll go with that.
Confirmed Petty's death on behalf of the performer's family. He was 66. He suffered cardiac arrest at his home in Malibu in the early hours of the morning and was taken to UCLA Medical Center, but could not be revived. He died peacefully at 8:40 Pacific time, surrounded by his family, his bandmates, and friends. Jimmy Usher said in his statement. So he's a cool dude. Honestly, he was actually holding on to life because it was almost an all day thing. As soon as I saw any kind of posting by I think he was even TMZ, they declared him dead. But
Right.
everybody's like, no, he's just like in the hospital. He's clinging to life, but he's alive. Then eventually, by the evening time, he obviously passed.
Yes.
Um, it, any Tom Petty songs that you're a big fan of?
Honestly, I'm not sure who Tom Petty is, but I knew that you would like him. You're more of a music guy than
The
I am.
Arms Wide Open was one of the great ones. Free Falling, free falling. He was very. I don't want to call him a folk singer because you call him as a rocker. He has a good sound, good song, but it was never something that was crazy to me. Like even his music videos at the time when MTV first started coming out, his take on it was kind of pretty trippy in a cool way because he had a very weird style. Uh, like his Alice in Wonderland theme video.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was just something different, like a little like a trip. Like you want to watch and see how it ends up. Because he looked very, especially in that video there. He had almost a Mad Hatter slash like current Johnny Depp Willy Wonka kind of face. He had fun making music videos, and that's what made it even awesome. But honestly, I would consider him more like a folk singer instead of a rock singer. There's Johnny over there.
Yeah, he's Johnny Depp.
Yeah. So, but yeah, his videos was definitely he was of the MTV era.
I think that's all we can legally show.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, copyrights.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm I don't know to the best of my knowledge if he's. I think did get inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If not, he has to now.
Right.
um, I'm gonna see how many the worst part with me that I hated about when a certain, especially an artist, musician sings, is they keep trying to get these really bad tributes using their song lyrics or their song titles into them. Like, and then like, now you don't have to be free falling anymore. Tom Petty almost like just really bad punny tribute. Like, I'm like, dude, no, just have some respect. Do the R.I.P. Blah blah blah. That's it. You don't have to
Okay. Well,
butcher his legacy.
that's fine. I mean, we all appreciate the songs that we grew up with and we love. So that is Comedy died, 66, rather young. So sad to see him go so young. Although he looked older in all the pictures I've seen
He
of him.
did.
So
Honestly,
I assume a hard rocker
I
life.
thought he was a vampire himself
Yeah.
because he had almost like the same look for the longest time. He never was very revolutionary in his appearance.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay. On to the movie trailer showdown. We have one, two, three, four trailers that enter. Only one leaves. We have four trailers, including the Justice League, Electric Dreams, Pacific Rim 2, Uprising, and Future Man. Any of these, do any of these stand out to you as like really cool?
And yes, compared to last week, I did watch them all.
You all saw them all,
The
so you can have an opinion here.
Exactly. So I did enjoy obviously one more than the others. The other ones I was like, really, they're doing this? I get it. It's a show for somebody. But the one that I'm surprised to see him still working is Terrence Howard. I'm like, hey man, good for him. Like Iron Man didn't destroy him.
So which one was that? You mean like
Uh,
Electric Dreams? What? Which?
Terrence Howard, he was the guy that played Brody. I was in Future Man.
Okay, so like I'm wondering, which trailer are you referring to? Because right now I have Justice League up.
Yeah, just
That
like right
one,
now,
that
that
one just
one.
came out today on Sunday. That's
Yes.
definitely cool. Great stuff there. You get to see more action adventure. I mean, plenty galore. You get to see um, them invading the island of Themyscira.
Steppenwolf
Yeah,
versus Wonder Woman, which is like
yeah, as
very
a
cool.
landing zone. I think that's interesting. I'm not sure how they're going to add those plays in. Whether it's going to be one of the old gods is really from all those gods are really from like Apocalypse or something, or from like the new gods or whatever.
My thing is the whole arrival if they're doing it boom tube
I
style.
would love a boob tube. That's a different channel though.
Yeah, but yeah, I that one was pretty awesome. I was expecting kind of a little bit more out of the Jason Momoa character, but Aquaman.
Reinhardt is basically bro at this point.
Yeah,
He's like the bro Iron Aquaman.
yeah,
You're a bro. It's amazing,
yeah,
awesome, great.
yeah. He's like the equivalent to pretty much Thor in the first Thor movie.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's fair, to be honest. Next one we have up is Full K Dick's Electric Dreams, which is based
Oh, it's Terrence Howard. There he is.
yeah. Oh, okay now. So yeah, so good stuff. Very sci-fi, kind of freaky. That one's also up. And then after that we had a Pacific Rim Uprising.
Which when I first saw it, and even the clips of it, and things later down the line, I swear I'm all like, "Is this the new Power Rangers movie?" I'm all, "You got your teenagers with attitudes, you
Yep.
got your Zords, you got your giant monsters. How is it not the next Power Ranger movie?"
No, I absolutely hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree. Like that's it definitely kind of the vibe. Like you saw in the first Pacific Rim, things were solved, and like we were wrong. The monsters are back, and they're bigger and better. We have to work together as a team,
Because I swear,
and they have like weapons and
yeah, oh yeah, because in my mind, while I was visually seeing this trailer,
right.
in my ears, in my head, I was hearing the Power Rangers theme song. Like, I swear, and then they're like, it was the whole setup. I'm like, this should have been the Power Ranger sequel.
Well, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this looks even better. Like it has a cohesive action plot or something." I'm like,
Mm.
okay. I mean, I'm probably gonna watch it just because I have that movie pass that lets me go wherever.
Just visually,
Yeah, I'm like, I'll probably because it's free for me anyways.
I like the simulation of the mind of the visual perks on it because I'm a big geek for giant robots anyway, so
Yeah.
I'll probably go check it out.
And the last one, of course, Future Man. It was essentially it's a janitor turned gamer who is going to save the world through time travel. And I thought that was kind of a cool premise. And again, it's going to be a TV series on Hulu. So
Mhm.
it's going to have, I think, it's like 7 or 12 episodes, whatever it is, starting in November. But I'm like, oh, that's kind of neat. A neat, interesting premise.
I wasn't sure where they were going to go with this route. I was like, okay, part of me thought it was like the last Starfighter, training through a
Yeah,
video
he makes
game.
the joke there. Yeah,
But it was like, oh, is it like the talented Mr. Ripley, like Mr. Matt Damon is the janitor genius kind of, guy that's is the one, if you will.
Yeah,
They just
less.
like combine the
Yeah,
movies.
yeah, less that, more of like the Last Starfighter
Yeah,
with Back to the Future stuff thrown in there.
exactly.
Again, it's a comedy. Like the main premise is like, oh, the guy who's trying to solve herpes because he has it ends up destroying the world. I'm like, oh, that's curious. That is very neat and comedic, basically. So I'm like, okay, that's cool.
It's pretty much like we got money.
Yeah.
Let's put this shit out and
Okay.
see
So
who actually will
of
like
the
it.
four, which one won for you?
I'm gonna go Justice League.
Justice League. So
Justice
Justice League
League,
wins
cause
for you.
yeah, just because the comic geekiness in me wants to see how it's gonna play out, see where they're gonna go, how it's gonna think. Because the
No,
main
no, no. Oh,
thing
yeah.
everybody was expecting Dark Side up here, but of course they're pre-Dark Siding it with Steppenwolf.
Well,
So
you need more for them to fight later when Superman comes
mhm,
back. So I'd assume this ends somewhere with like, oh, we'd be Darkseid jumping in, and then towards
mhm.
the end, and Superman appears as his counterpoint. Like
with
I figure that's going to be the third act twist.
Yeah, because of course with me is Jason Momoa because I want to see how this Aquaman thing turns out. Because especially when the first trailers that they came out for Justice League, it was mostly about Jason Momoa. Just I don't know if it was like the pre Aquaman movie because it was him and just giant wave in the background and all that stuff. Um, to me, it's just kind of I want to see their whole take on the Flash also. Because obviously, if you've seen the CW version of the Flash,
Yeah,
you're
I
gonna
haven't
be
seen
done the
anything
comparisons.
different about this Flash. To be honest, like he seems like TV Flash, um, even looks similar.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, with like a worse costume.
Yeah, mannerisms. Yeah, I was not a fan of the costume. I was like, all right.
Yeah, other than that, like everything else is like, I mean, honestly, spoil out with this trailer. Like, oh, yes, the people from Apocalypse,
Hmm.
they show up. I mean, you see Steppenwolf, and you see a bunch of people. So there's going to be like the invasion. So this here scene that we're watching currently
Hmm.
seems like, oh, that's third act stuff.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this is when like the bad stuff happens, and but like a lot of the movies are just going to be like, oh, bringing them together for this unforeseen
Hmm.
alien invasion, and them trying to do it individually first, and then coming together as a team in the third act.
And of course,
And
seeing
so
how.
there's a lot of spoilers here if you
Oh
actually
yeah,
watch the trailer.
yeah, and the whole Superman thing. Like, how is he gonna be resurrected? Which route they're gonna go? But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely Justice League for myself.
For me, I'm gonna have to say Future Man. I thought that was just a cool concept. Justice League. I've seen this footage before. I'm not this particular footage, but I based on the storyline. I mean, this is Justice League issue 1 of the New 52. That's what this is. That's what this whole movie
Hmm.
is. And so nothing has been super amazing to me yet. Yeah, there's some cool little cameos and one-liners. But I'm almost hedging my bet saying this is going to be okay. I hope at least, and secretly hope it's good, but I don't want to get my expectations up. And this one was new for me. Future Man was just an entirely new premise. Cool special effects still, but it's also on Hulu, so I can actually watch it. It's also out in November, but it's at 6, 7, 12, what episodes, whatever it is. So
Hmm.
we're going to get more screen time with this one, and more potentially cool storylines because there's also time travel in addition to like this gamer kill stuff. So
Oh yeah, I get to see the little tributes right
yeah,
there for Top Gun and like you said, Back
yeah.
to the
I think they do also an
Future.
80 nostalgia stuff in
Oh
here,
yeah,
so because they go back in time. The
it's like
outfits are
a
Back to the
little
Future, yeah.
that or Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad too, could be.
But yeah, so we'll see. Maybe develop
But
a
yeah,
whole cult following, but well, let's
that was
give
the
it
one that
time.
I thought, was better than all the other ones. Electric Dream was cool, it's a very sci-fi-ish. Pacific Rim, just action. I mean, Rim 1 didn't have a plot. It was
Power
giant
Rangers
robots
2.
versus giant kaiju monsters. And
Power
that's all
Rangers 2.
people ever wanted. So I'm like, they're gonna give you another dose of it with more. So no real expectations there. But Future Man, Justice League coming in second for me.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay, that's it for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for listening and for watching the show. If you like the podcast, you want to help support us in any way, shape, or form, you can do so at geekbytespodcast.com/support.
Yeah, toss some coins our side, please.
Absolutely. So thanks again for listening and watching. For Geek Bytes Podcast, I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And remember, folks, to go geek out about something. Nope, wrong one. Again. Darn it.
Worries.
It's number 9 now. I keep forgetting, like I changed the
That's mighty
thing.
number 9. Suck.